Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, in deck number 534, we're going to talk about Aphemia, the Cacophony. Now, for 2 mana, we get a 2/1 flying commander, which is amazing in and of itself. It's a harpy. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile an enchantment card from your graveyard. If you do, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So this is trading your spent enchantments. I say spent because more than likely we've got our use out of them. And getting a 2/2 zombie out of it. Now, we're only doing this once a turn. It's a real slow zombie grind, but, that's kind of what they do. So, with that in mind, I'm playing 50 enchantments in the deck. Now, luckily, because now we've had 4 Theros sets, a lot of these enchantments are actually enchantment creatures. I have them divided up into enchantments, auras, and enchantment creatures. So first, before we get into those, let's look at the few cards that are not. For mana, I have Pristine Talisman, Heraldic Banner. We are playing monocolor. Altar of the Pantheon. Y'all know I love this card. And Dark Ritual. I'm gonna check, see if the focus is pretty decent there. So, card draw wise, that's not enchantment related. Of course, we have a Sign in Blood, Read the Bones, Painful Lesson, and while not card draw, it is card selection, the Diabolic Tutor. And I'll be dang, that light is still upsetting me. Maybe it's not the light. I just can't see the monitor. Anyway, let's see. So let's get to our, why not, enchantment creatures first, because, there's not a lot of them, but most of these are strictly in there just because they are black enchantment creatures. Lampad of the Death Vigil. And this lets you sack a creature, so it does do a job of getting the enchantment into the yard. Since all but one of our all but 2 of our creatures are enchantment creatures. Soul Reaper of Mogus, another sacrifice card. Sacrifice creature, draw cards. So, playing with New Tamarit, Agent of Erebos, and love this constellation. Because this is kind of an incidental thing that we stumble across when we're trying to do our heavy enchantment thing. Okay, whenever this or another enchantment enters the battlefield, exile all cards from target player's graveyard. So this is, it's an anti-graveyard strategy. So that's not bad. Dreadbringer Lampets. Constellation, wherever this or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gains Intimidate until end of turn. By the way, I know I may not have many Wizards of the Coast game designer viewers, but why do, when cards refer to themselves, we know that in playtest it says card name, but why doesn't it say that whenever this or another enchantment? Whenever this card, I don't know. Doomwake Giant been reprinted a whole bunch of times. The constellation of giving your opposing creatures -1. Erebos' Emissary allows you to discard creature cards. Cavern Lamphead, Bestow +2/2 and Imitate. Fate Unraveler. That's the Underworld Dreams version. Opponent draws a card that deals take a damage. Hateful Eidolon. There was a day and time that this card would have been rare, and I would have understood why it's rare. 1 mana, 1/2, lifelink. Whenever an enchanted creature dies, draw a card for each aura you control that was attached to it. That'll matter once we get to our auras. Gnarled Scarhide. Okay. uh, Baleful Eidolon, Spiteful Returned, Nyxborn Eidolon, Brain Maggot. Oh man, I think I got a promo one I should have used there. Grim Guardian, and Herald of the Torment. Making sure that we can still see. There we go. Now, the aura section, I do have auras that will straight up kill creatures, you know. Well, small ones anyway. -2/-1 with weakness, stab wound, dead weight, Mogus's favor. Now, Quag Sickness is just good, clean living for mono black. I'm telling you, -1/-1 for each swamp. That's probably killing whatever it is. I like this Nyx infusion. +2/+2, as long as it's an enchantment, odds are it will be. Otherwise, it gets -2/-2, so we can use this offensively or defensively, so that's pretty cool. How about the Inevitable End? Enchanted creature has at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature. Now, more than likely, they're going to sacrifice this one, the one that this is on. Then we've got our helper stuff, you know. Oh, we have Ordeal of Erebos, put some counters, you know. Curse of Disturbance. Hey, let's get some more zombies, right? And then, you know, Phyresis, because it's a good card. Why not? You know, it's an enchantment. And Dance of the Dead to kind of help get things back. Now, that transitions beautifully into our regular enchantments, being Necromancy. Now, a lot of these are enchantments that are not going to stay around. They kind of do their thing. Volras Dungeon never stays around. The beautiful part about that first line is any player may pay 5 life during their turn. So you can actually pick the person, and yes, you're discarding cards, more than likely enchantments, so that you can turn them into zombies later. But to make them put cards back on top of their library. So I used this card back in 60 card, back when it first came out, and it was ridiculous. All you needed was that one turn. Yeah, you're going to spend 5 life, sure, whatever. You're not going to have a hand. That deck I played kept you drawing your initial hand of 7 cards over and over and over again. You didn't draw anything new besides those opening 7. It was beautiful. Seal of Doom just naturally kills itself by what it does. Now, Treacherous Blessing. This card, and with no real way to get rid of it. It's a decent card draw card, but I think it'll do better in decks where you can actually get rid of it, because, you know, you're drawing 3 cards, but every spell you play, you're going to take a point. Parallax Nexus puts itself in the graveyard. Of course, the Elspeth's Nightmare, the sagas, Timuric Calls the Dead, that puts theirself in the graveyard. Lethal Vapors. Yeah. This is one of those things it's easy to pay that cost, but it's difficult to pay that cost at the same time. So this is we're just using this just to buy us time. That's it. Now, Underworld Dreams, of course, is in there. It is an enchantment, triple black pips. So in this deck, it doesn't really matter. I mean, Tamarids are kind of only, it's the only devotion thing that we've seen yet. Grave Peril. We're not going to be playing any non-black creatures, that's for sure. Check this out. Snake Cult Initiation. Now, Poisonous 3 was the precursor to Infect. It just means the creature, when it deals combat damage, they're going to get 3 poison. Regardless of how much damage the creature deals. If it deals 1, if it deals 20, they're still only going to get 3 poison. Pestilence. Pestilence is a good way to wipe a board, and it's a good enchantment that doesn't typically stay around long because, people like to kill it. Um, Phyrexian Etchings. Phyrexian Etchings. Obviously, it's not staying around forever because it has cumulative upkeep. But losing 2 life for each age counter on it, that's a lot of life. Don't get me wrong. But it's not bad. It's not bad at all. That foil kind of makes that one hard to focus in on. Hissing Miasma. A creature attacks, its controller loses 1 life. Retreat to Hagra. Yeah. Landfall Life Slurpee is not bad, even though it's just for 1. A Curse of Wizardry for whoever the spell slinger at the table is. Revenge of Ravens. Whenever a creature attacks you or a walker, kind of similar to Hissing Miasma, only it adds the walker clause in there. Underworld Connections, good card draw. Now, Death Grip. Let's talk about hate cards, or I say hate cards, but green is the most powerful color. There's no question of that. I mean, it's anything in the past year has shown us that. And then as far back as you want to go, green. Anyway, I don't have a problem playing for the Death Grip because this is it. I'm not running hate cards of all the colors. It's just Death Grip. If it works, it works. If not, hey. Haunting Wind. Now, we are playing, what was that, 3 artifacts? That's it. But this penalizes all those artifact decks, Infernal Darkness. Cumulative upkeep, a black and a life to permanently, all mana producing lands produce black instead of their normal mana. This can stall out a game. This can buy you a lot of time. Now, granted, it's going to get too expensive to pay for. Omen of the Dead, new card. Return a creature card from a graveyard to your hand, and you can sack it to scry 2. It's flash, nothing special, but the 1 mana flash kind of got me. Witch's Mist. How about enchantments that tap? Destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. Now, obviously, that is goes great with Pestilence, right? Not as good as the Death Pits of Wrath, which I could have swore was in here, but it's not. We are in black, so let's look at our constellation stuff, or our devotion. Drag to the Underworld, Tendrils of Corruption, Sangomancy. Now, Sangomancy is one of those cards that's, ooh-wee. It's hard for Brian to be responsible when playing this card. It really, really is. Now, hold on. I'm working on finding the exact right. There we go. I think I liked it better back when it was over across the room. But then, of course, the big devotion card, Gray Merchant. That's the Gray Merchant is pretty much the reason why the Dance of the Dead and Necromancy is in there. So we can cycle through the Gray Merchant to get all the triggers and do all the things. Sudden Spoiling, excellent combat trick. And the only card I've got that deals with zombies is the Cemetery Reaper. Turns them into 3/3s, and you can exile your opponent's creatures if they've got any kind of shenaniganery going on over there. Our 4 non-basic lands, Barren Pool, polluted mire for some cycling lands, spawning pool to just have some blocker, and lastly, that Rogue's Passage. And that is it for Aphemia. I don't know. I actually, I thought about doing like all like cheap flyers, small black flyers, but I just didn't. I mean, there's not enough. I don't know. There's not enough stuff in it to really get me to where I wanted to be. So, hell, now I'm fuzzy. Yeah, we're gonna go back to. Oh look, I'm not fuzzy anymore. But that is it for Aphemia 534. I do appreciate y'all watching. We are. I know this is a little later in the day. I just got off work, as you can tell, in my work clothes, but gonna keep going. I have 5 more. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I've got 5 more already built, and as you can tell here, all of. Hold on, let's see. These 16 are still Theros. There's a bunch. There's a bunch in this set. But all of the others here are, those are just various decks I've been working on. Some of it for a while, some of it for years. The Persistent Petitioner deck, the Song Title deck. That is, if you notice, it does not have a general name because there's not a general that exists yet for it. It's Tribal Elephants. Hopefully, we'll get one. I may end up using Savala, depending on what we get first, you know? So, I do appreciate y'all watching. Y'all let me know what you think. There's my mouse. But, yeah, that's about it. We're going to keep going with Theros for a little while. I do appreciate y'all watching, liking, subscribing especially. If you haven't subscribed yet, jump down there, hit that subscribe button for me, please. And y'all have a good night. But right now, we're going to shuffle and cut.